Hey guys, and welcome to the On the Mission podcast, where we help you build a solid plan to show up for your community without actually stressing out. My name is Melody. Come in and join the conversation with me. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the On the Mission podcast. I am really excited to talk with you guys today. Hope you guys are having a great time. One of the things that I'm starting to realize as I begin this journey of working with nonprofits on a more personal level, from digital marketing to nonprofit consulting and grant writing, is that the clients are always different. But however, there's a level of expectation that seems to be, it seems to be either unmeant or miscommunicated. Let's say that. We're going to say that today. So, hey, my name is Melody Amoa. I am the founder of the Harvest Grants and Company, where we work together to actually end poverty within your community. So, as we say around here, let's get started. So, today's episode, we're going to be breaking down several myths in the nonprofit sector that they believe about getting grants. Now, some of you guys kind of already know this, but there may be some that do not. So I'm going to help some of you guys save yourself a lot of pain when you guys start looking for grant writers or grant writing consultants. When you're shopping around, I want to bring this to your attention. That way, when you begin booking calls with either with me or any other grant writing consultant, that you guys are actually on the same page. So let me ask you a couple questions. Have you ever thought that if you just wrote one amazing proposal that money will come pouring in? Or maybe we will never get funding because we're too small. Listen, you are not alone. There are many of these are the myths that actually hold you back from reaching their full potential. Now, in this episode, we're going to be debunking common myths about grants and giving you the tools to overcome them. Whether you're new to grant writing or just frustrated by the process, we're going to walk together through this with actionable strategies to get the results you need. Without further ado, grab your notebook, your favorite beverage, and let's go ahead and busting down these myths. I know I'm a little hood that way. Number one, grants are easy money. Now, let's start off with that one. Many people think that grants as free cash with no strings attached. Now, in reality, that could not be further from the truth. Here's why. Grants come with detailed requirements. Now, how many of us remember going to college in the last 10 years, remember the federal Pell Grant? And we just signed up for the FAFSA and we gotten free money from the government. This is an example I'm going to use because I want to highlight how grants works. The only way we were able to renew that federal Pell Grant, according to the Department of Education, is that we meet certain requirements in order for us to be renewed the following semester. This same process also applies to getting grant funding. Funders want to know exactly how their money is going to be used, and they expect regular updates from you on your progress. Some grants even have specific guidelines for spending, which means you might need there are cases that you're going to need to hire extra staff or systems to manage the funds responsibly. Now, how can you really overcome this? First, it is best for you to read the fine print before applying for grants. Make sure you understand that you have the capacity to meet all the grant requirements before applying. Second, build systems to track outcomes and manage your funds. If you're not sure where to start, look for grant management software or templates for reporting. I'm actually going to add a couple links to some really solid grant management software. Just click down on the description link below. Now, remember, grants are not a quick fix. It takes a lot of time and it's a process. But when it's managed well and done correctly, they can be a powerful tool to grow your mission in your community. Now, that's mission number one. Number two, You need to know somebody on the inside. Now, there's an old saying that goes something like this. It's not about what you know, it's who you know. And I guess it applies in some different aspects, maybe when it comes to the job search. However, this one is also further from the truth. You could be a brand new nonprofit right now who's just getting started with the grant writing process, and you don't know any funders within your local area, or you don't have any connections that you can call to get some funds rolling for your brand new program. It is okay. There is no shame in that. The thing is, you don't always need inside connections to win grants. We just need to be a little bit more savvy. Now, here's the thing. Building relationship with funders can be a great foundational tool to help you get more grants in the near future, and it definitely helps you. They're not the only way to secure grants. Many funders, especially foundations, are open to new applicants. They're looking for innovative ideas and organizations that will align with their mission. In fact, some explicitly state that they will prefer to work with first-time grantees. This is why I say it is important to look at the fine print of every grant opportunity that you begin researching. There are some they will prefer to work with existing grantees that already receive funding, and there are some who are gracious enough in looking at first-time grant applicants. So here's what you can do to get yourself in position. Focus on building a very strong proposal that speaks directly to the funder's priorities. Show them how your work aligns with their goals. If you're at a conference or event, don't even hesitate to even introduce yourself. Network events is a great opportunity to introduce yourself to potential funders and cultivate that relationship over time. Never forget that. So let's move on. Number 3. One great proposal will guarantee success. Now, this one, I'm a little bit 50-50 on this one. And I'll tell you why in a moment. This one can be frustrating because even the best proposal don't always get the funding. There's many reasons for that, and we'll cover that probably in another episode. But there is an actual passage in the Bible. We're going to look at Ecclesiastes 9, chapter 9, verses 11. And this, I hope this will give you hope when you're going through this process. Now, this is King Solomon speaking, and I'm reading the New Living Translation. I have observed something else under the sun. The fastest runner doesn't always win the race, and the strongest warrior doesn't always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry, and the skillful are not always wealthy, and those who are educated don't always lead successful lives. It is all decided by chance, by being at the right place at the right time. Listen, just because you're competing against well-established nonprofits and you does not always mean that you won't always get funding. Nor does it mean that your established nonprofit that you always got funding doesn't always necessarily mean that you'll get funded the next time around. Everything happens by chance. Now, there's a way to make sure your proposals are actually going to come out in your favor. But I want you to lean on the fact that your value is not in your grants being rewarded. Your value is the impact that you're making for your community and bringing glory to God. I just want you to give you that. So the key in right now is grant writing is a numbers game. Funders receive dozens and hundreds of applications, and only a fraction of them are successful. Now, the key is being persistent. Be willing to apply to multiple funders and do not be discouraged if you're not successful the first time. Treat each application as a learning opportunity. Here's a pro tip. If your proposal is rejected, follow up with the funder and ask for feedback. Many funders are happy to share insight to help you improve for the next time around. Number 4, small nonprofits cannot compete. Now, this is a whole lie in itself. Let me tell you a story about this client of mine, and she is a spunky lady. She serves the homeless within her community that she felt that God has called her to. Now, she also was a small nonprofit with a small operation budget. However, she was able to score $40,000 in grant funding along with a business consultant to help her scale and expand her nonprofit organization for the next 2 years. This is a testimony of someone who just started out of nothing, just started literally during the COVID-19 pandemic, and she's on her way to expanding. And I hope this testimony will actually give you hope. Whether or not you've been in the game either for 30 days or 30 years, you still have a fighting chance. So I want to tell you that this is a major misconception. Believe it or not, funders are seeking out smaller organizations or grassroots initiatives because they can make a significant impact on local communities versus the larger ones. Now, here is what you can do. I want you to highlight your unique strength. You probably have deep ties with your community or have a unique approach to solving a problem within the community. Focus on what makes you stand out. And if you're new to grants, start small. Don't go for the 40 grand if you're just getting started. There are local funds that start off with just $500. Let's start there. Start with winning small grants like $500, $2,000, and start working your way up. And when you begin to learn to manage the funds and you have a track record of all the progress you made plus where the money has been spent, this will even boost your confidence to go after the 40, the 50, even the 100 grand down the road. So never give up. Local or regional funders are often more accessible than the larger national foundations. Let's start mainstreaming your list of foundations that you want to apply for, and let's look at a little bit on a smaller scale. Let's go to number 5. Grants are a quick fix for funding gaps. Now, I want to caution you when you're applying for grants, or some of you applying for grants, or you have already applied for some grants in the past and want to make sure this is a reminder. When you are applying for funding, please understand that when the grants are awarded, you will be required to actually fulfill the promise that you made to the funder. Now, here's the truth. Grants do take time. The application alone takes several months from the research all the way down to the grants being awarded. And even if you're awarded funding, it will take weeks or months for the money to arrive. Plus, many grants are restricted to specific programs, meaning you cannot use it for general operation expenses. And I will be honest to tell you upfront that there are very few grants that I have seen that will fund general operation expenses. Now, there is a way to work around this. The best thing I can tell you is right now, plan ahead. Think about grants as part of a long-term funding strategy instead of a short-term solution. Now, don't rely on grants alone. I would strongly suggest that you diversify your funding sources with individual donations, sponsorships, or earned income streams. Although grants can cover specific programs, look at it this way. Your donations, sponsors, and even some of your products and services can cover the funding gaps within your operational budget. Something to think about. Now, we're almost through. Number 6, if you don't get the grant, it's just a waste of time. And I get it. When you have been rejected multiple times, even after putting in all the hard work, the late nights, making sure people and getting the second eyes to look over your application to see everything looks well, it can be disheartening knowing that all your hard work still didn't get the results that you were looking for. And I get it. Rejection sucks. It's discouraging. But applying for grants is never a waste of time. One grant can literally change the game for you and expand your impact within your community for generations versus you doing it by yourself. So, Think of it as think of it as a process. Instead of stewing in rejection, I want you to believe that you're one step closer to that one yes that you're looking for that will your growth as a nonprofit organization. This process is going to help you clarify your goals, refine your message, and build relationship with your funders. A quick note of matter is, it is true that most new nonprofits don't often get funding within the first 3 years, but it's not impossible either. So I do not want you to give up. Even if you don't get the grant the first time or even the fifth time around, keep going. You are laying the groundwork for future opportunities. Follow up with funders to get feedback and stay on the radar by sending updates about your work. Relationships will take time, but your persistence will pay off. Before I wrap up this episode, I do want to introduce a product that will help you streamline your mission, clarify your message, and redefine what your goals are. And it's called the Master Grant Template. This innovative template is over 30 pages long that's geared towards any grant application that you apply for. It'll be your own personal customized template that you can use to apply to any grant opportunity that you want in the near future, and you could tweak it and customize it however you wish. It is good for not just for any foundational application, but it's also good for federal grants in the near future. If you are interested in learning more about the Master Grant Template, book a call with me so we can help you put together your grant funding strategy for 2025. So let's recap. We just debunked 6 common myths about grants. Number 1, grants are not easy money. They require work and accountability. Number 2, you do not need insider connections, just a strong proposals, persistent, and strong relationships. Number 3, one great proposal is not enough. You need to begin to apply to multiple funders. Number 4, small nonprofits can compete as long as they are able to highlight their unique strength. Number 5, grants aren't a quick fix. Plan for the long term. And number 6, rejection are not failures. They are opportunity to learn and grow. Now, what is the biggest myth that you believe about grants? Take one action today to challenge it. Maybe that means researching a new funder, reworking a proposal, or follow up after a rejection. Do what you have to do. Look over everything that you have. And if you're brand new to grant writing, this is your opportunity to get ready. Now you know those myths, you're in a better position to prepare yourself to apply for your first grant opportunity. This is all that I have for you today. Thank you for joining me at the On the Mission podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends and your family. Now, if you want to work with me to build out your 12-month grant funding strategy, go ahead and book a call with me. The link is already at the description box below, and I'll definitely see you in the next episode. Take care.